How many of us have them? Friends.
Woo!
Hopefully you have a good one. 2, 3, 4 that you can call into. So we're talking about today friendships and how they come back and feed into our relationships. Keep listening and let's dive in.
What's going on, good people? Welcome back. Another episode coming your way. Summing up with the Summoners. It's your boy Damon.
And Katoya.
That's right. We are back here for another episode.
I want to go Katoya.
Ooh,
I know.
Okay.
That's cool.
I
always want to, you know.
Always
want
want
my
to.
name out.
Another time.
Wait, no, it happened this time.
Well, that wasn't smooth. So, take note, people. It's coming back. But we are back for another episode. We appreciate you guys rocking with us here. But before we go anywhere, we always got to say what we got to say. Thank you so much. Means a lot that you are listening, enjoying the podcast. Hopefully you're enjoying the podcast. We're still doing it. So hopefully you're finding value in it.
We still doing it. We still got listeners.
We still here. That's how some restaurant in the city feel. It's like, I don't know who gonna show up, but we gonna keep cooking these dogs. We gonna keep cooking these hot dogs. We gonna sell these tater tots and onion rings. Somebody gonna pull up.
They keep coming.
They keep coming.
They must like it.
They must. Somebody like it.
Well, we do appreciate you. We appreciate your feedback more than you know. So always give it to us. Let us know what you want to hear. DM us. You can slide in our DMs, the Sum It Up Summoners. That's acceptable. And just let us know, you know, any feedback. What you want to hear, what you like, what you didn't like.
Definitely. Today we're diving into fostering good friendships. I think one of the biggest things that when you talk about relationships, marriage, friendships, so you've seen this a lot of times in movies, TV shows where, you know, they have this trope about, which I'm not saying is 100% false, but they'll be all single, 3-4 girls, 3-4 guys, just tight like rice, and then 1 or 2 will get married, and I'm like, oh, my friend's dead, it's over, we'll never be the same, and never be the same. Those are interesting words, but we're gonna dive into why fostering good friendships in a marriage, in an exclusive relationship, is still so critical. Critical. Katoya and I, depending on how long you've been listening to the podcast, you know very much that we have the exact same point of view and worldview about friends.
What is something that you and your husband differ on? Write it on the board and reveal the answer. Friendships. So it's really interesting because we'll come from different perspectives, and I think it's really good. Keep going on that line.
I would just alluding to the fact that friendships, even if you are in an exclusive relationship, married, they're still so valuable for yourself individually and for you two collectively.
It's true.
Yes, it is true.
I also say, if you're watching this video, I did a no-no. I did not lotion, and I am a different shade. So it's unacceptable.
Shout out to our YouTube viewers.
And I just want to call myself
Call herself out. So don't get in the comments.
I knew it when I did it, and I was like,
Somebody was about to type too, but you called him. He's like, I got you.
Oh yeah, I like to call out my problems.
Call out the problems. Forget a Papa Doc, forget a clock, forget y'all if you doubt me.
I 100% believe in that, Eminem.
A piece of white trash, and I say it proudly.
What do you have to say if I said it?
Nothing.
And now it can't hurt me.
Anyway. How about that? I'm ashy. Check.
Ash is happening. But I do think because we hold different, there's like a little background on us in friendships. You know, we hold different, like, weight or perspective about friendships. And like, I grew up as a middle child only girl, and my brothers are about 8 years each apart from me, so 8 years up, 8 years younger. And so I've always depended very heavily on friendships, major. I had cousins and we grew up like real tight until like middle school. So once like I got in middle school, and then they got in like high school, because everyone's like 2 to 3 years older than me. It all just started looking different. You know, it just wasn't the same. Everybody didn't go over my deals for the summer, so on and so forth. So friends became pivotal. So I've always held a lot of, you know, weight on them. But I do think there is some real truth to transitioning into the next phases of life. And when friends don't transition with you, you do have to fight harder. But I do think that's kind of like the general background of us is that, you know, I've always leaned in like they were my sisters and brothers essentially because I needed them to be.
Yeah, that's good context. That's good context. And depending on when you're listening to this, maybe it's your first time, that's really helpful to know before we dive too deep in there. Because on my side, oldest of 3 boys living together, sheltered home, so we weren't out much at all, like outside playing with friends, etc. Like mom was working late shift a lot of the time, so we had to be in home. You know, it was us. So my 3-pack was tight. That was my brothers were, you know, my world to an extent. I mean, that's where the jokes, the laughs, the tea party. I mean, just so much fun happened with those 2 boys. And then, you know, middle school and high school, you know, definitely a lot of friendships come out of there. But I did not have the same perspective, have the same context as Katoya. So, as we talk about marriage on paper, we came into this, you know, with 2 different worldviews. And so, it's been intriguing for us to continue to grow in that. And wherever you are in your relationship, I mean, we're intrigued on, you know, how do you lean towards one or the other? Because I'm not going to do it. There's 2 types of people because I think it's probably a little more fluid. Because friendship is fluid, right?
You could do with 2 types of people.
But I think I got 6 in my pocket. But I think one question here to dive into here, just in general, why do you think friends are so important even when or especially when you're in a relationship? What are they still, how much weight should we still be putting into them?
Yeah, this is.
And why should they not be devalued?
An answer to your question, but it is a little bit. So y'all know I've talked about openly going to counseling over the last 6 to 8 months or something like that. I don't know. And it's been phenomenal.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was about to discredit the counselor I love so much because she kept telling me a key word every time I bring up a situation. She kept saying, because you know it's about connection. And I was like, okay.
All right.
Like, seriously, this situation has nothing to do with this. It is connection again. Like, one day she kind of left me on the cliffhanger. She was like, and you know that all brings us back to. And I was like, oh, wow, what? Exactly, they don't know that.
They don't know that.
That's what it was.
That was fun.
Connection. And I was like, okay.
All
I'm
right.
tired of hearing
this
that.
was a good run.
And so I went to work and I talked to a friend and I was like, yeah. She just kept saying connection. And she was like, oh, yeah, no, that's not my word. And I was like,
oh, this friend has the same counselor.
no, she has a completely different counselor.
Okay.
And I was like, is your counselor always going back to connection? And she was like, no, mine is control. And I was like, oh.
I thought they had a thing.
I thought this was just like, the world needs connection.
My bad.
But truly, it was about, like, this is my thing, you know? And so when I thought of that question, I thought of that story because I think about, like, while it might not be my coworker's story, and hers is more about the control, but I do think a lot of us are searching for connection. We're searching for deeper meaning relationships. And even though you have your bae, who's probably what you would consider your BFF, because, you know, I feel like they really should. You day in, day out with the same person.
Highs, lows,
living life. You cry, you poop, you boo-boo, you shower, it's quite deep. Connected.
You went very intimate there. You went very intimate there.
I'm just saying, who knows me better, honestly? You know, well, and the next people who knows me better are the people I consider my closest friends.
Sure.
And some of them have known me longer than Damon has known me, and so on and so forth. But I think that friendship should be fought for because Damon can't be my all. You know, I can't go in that perspective of I got the one I need, you know. And that's not fair to him. It's not fair to me. And he is not a woman. And I need female connection. And it is important to make that like essential. And I think it's the same for men, even though it may look differently.
Yeah.
So answer that question as well. Like, what does it?
Yeah.
Why is it important? And
friendship is so important. I mean, we're holistic people, and just your partner can't serve and cater to and support you like as a like it's like just fully, like you can't, like you just said, I can't be everything and vice versa. So when you've got a dope circle, a dope crew around you, you're gonna be able to get those other edges sharpened and cared for and catered to and supported and uplifted.
And
so
needs
it's still
and interests,
hobbies and
activities. Not gonna do
activities.
some of the things that they want to do.
Yeah.
With me, like
So-
he's not gonna go to town for a weekend with me.
Not at all. Not at all.
I don't.
Okay.
I need to find friends who want to do that with me
Yeah.
and have intentional time with them during that.
Definitely.
He wants to go on comedy tours. I'll pop up to one
Pop.
place, but I'm not gonna go on a tour.
42 cities.
Yeah.
17 dive bars in the middle of some Midwest town.
No.
What are we doing?
He needs to have some good friends who want to live that life with him. And then know that when that life is over, he has somewhere that's like it to come back to.
Yeah.
Not over, but when that run is over.
Yeah.
So friends are important because our spouse cannot be our everything.
Mm-hmm.
And our friends add value, perspective, and like connection.
Yeah.
It's about connection.
Don't live, regardless of how long you've been in your relationship, like don't let go those, like fight for good friendships. I think the fight for the strong friendships that you already have. It does not have to be the same. They're not going to look the same. Couture and I've got friendships for over a decade now. They do not look the same as they did 9 years ago.
I have
That's not a bad thing.
2 friends that have met 2 decades.
Wow. Oh, you do? Yes, you do.
I'm only
You do have.
34.
You do have
I'm
that.
proud of those.
You do. Shout out to you. Shout out to you 3. That's very true.
To a couple.
But yeah, like fight for those because there's no need to. Well, I got like I said, and that's even so much pressure and weight. Like I've got this one, and you're gonna take care of. We're professionals here. Something's all over the place. I don't know what that was about.
That's my phone.
And so fight for those. But on top of that, you also have to realize like you may need to foster new friendships as well.
Yeah.
And that's where you get into realizing how we're going to be social, how we're going to initiate new interactions, new connections, because that matters too.
Well, that does matter, but I also think restoring some matters too. I feel like over the pandemic, I had to kind of rebuild
Brush
and
them off.
restore some of my most faithful and meaningful friendships were looking very,
very true,
very challenged within the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And it was the most meaningful conversation with one of my closest friends to just say like, hey, no, like I love you. This friendship matters to me. Many have fallen in just the last 2 years, and this one should not. And we can't allow for these times or this, rut to feel like it's like gonna be like the end of us. And having that intentional conversation has significantly, I feel, changed has repurposed the like meaning and value. We talked about knowing your value in your relationships a couple episodes ago, but also knowing your value in your friendships. And that was extremely helpful to me because I was feeling a little isolated and, a little disconnected from the relationships that had meant the most to me.
Yeah, no, that's good. Repurposing and, reestablishing some of those old relationships. It is some that have just been healthy for a long time. There's some new ones that are going to come in. Then there's some that might try to fade. And the ones that I want to try to hold on to, are we both two-way street? Friendships are a two-way street. Are we both going to put in intentionality to do it? I mean, but like in this past year, 2021 specifically, me and about really 2 other guys. There's a third guy who's come in now in 2022. But we're just like, hey man, we gotta make sure this connection stay on point. So we just started doing outdoor wing nights, and nothing special. We don't call each other, we don't really text. But when we get together for that wing night, oh man, it's good. Laugh, reminisce, sharing problems, venting, asking for insight. Talking about fatherhood, marriage, work, etc., etc.
Healthy.
You know what I mean? And so it's just like we've got one coming up in a few weeks here in April as we're recording this episode. And those relationships, before the pandemic, they probably were decent, fine, good. But with just, 6 wing nights, they're stronger, right? And so that has helped me. That has filled my bucket. I ain't never read that book. But
I read the kid version. It's pretty good.
Okay, that's good enough. She'll tell me about the books, like I'll tell her about movies, and now we know. And but it has, it feels me. I come back restored as a husband. I come back refreshed as a father. You know what I mean? I come back more whole as a man. And so those fostering those good relationships. I was trying to get that 3. Fostering those good relationships really go a long way in my marriage, right? Because now I'm feeling, just better overall. And those things you can't replace. Those are things you can't beat.
Thinking about those friendships that, you like before we were good, but now we're better. And that came with initiation of like intentional moments, like, hey, let's get up. Oh, I can't do it. That's all right. Let's put a date down. Like set dates.
Ooh, set that
put
date
it down. Like set it every third Thursday. Like just make something intentional.
Yeah.
And I think about, like I said, with those friendships that were like, maybe they weren't like your top tier at some point, but now they're coming into that.
Yeah.
Because of this intentionality. I see my friends in a lot of different, either like literally in sectors of my life, like pound friends. And it's really cool when pound crosses into my regular life and you become a pound friend, or you're a co-worker and then you become a friend.
Yeah.
And then I have like my top tier friend and second tier friends. So I have like, in my brain, I categorize it this way. But, Damon and I just talk about, like, because I do need connection and it is important to me. And I know we all want control too, right? Like these words go for everyone, but there are some heavier words for individuals more than others, and connection is one for me. And so I had to stop and take a look at that second group of people for a minute to try to like be more intentional with the ones I already have a good relationship with that just needs more, tending to, and more intentionality to see it become something better.
Because you're saying there's tiers for the friendships.
For me, maybe not everybody sees it that way, but it's helpful for me to be like, all right, sisters.
Yep.
All right.
First cousins.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? First cousins.
Second.
Yeah. And then
my cousin's best friend. Like.
And everybody else.
Yeah. It's helpful. That's just a truth.
No, we like
I would
tiering.
never sit and be like, hey, you're a tier 2 friend.
No, that's internal talk.
That's rude. That's for us and that's for me.
You're a 2B, right? You know that.
Hey, I really want to make you a 1B. So we need to work harder.
Yeah.
But I went through a stage of like church trying to find new friends, and I'm still kind of in that because there are some areas of life that like I'm not for sure I have the best friend that exists to do certain things with, And I also like different perspectives and trying new things and, having new friends. So that's okay. But there was a moment I was like, you got plenty of folks.
Come on now.
Come
on now. Just stop and look back. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Like, and then we started hanging out a little bit more. And I was like, I love them. Yep. This is great, So take an assessment, if you will. See who's valuable. What is the relationship that you give to and they give to, not just the pull, take from,
two-way street.
That is mutually benefiting, because friendship should be that. Because when they don't, you stuck, you drain, you pull, you weigh it down, and then that person is feeling like just a giver. Like it needs to be a balance. It should be as best possible.
Definitely.
So I think that take an assessment, see what's out there that you have what good relationships you already have, and how can you strengthen those for the health of you and for your relationship.
Man, oh man, I just want to pause for a second. That was all good gold right there.
But
not a but.
You butt me.
No, not a but. It is a but in the sense of transition.
You gotta have.
I just wanna. It's so hard to make new friends.
It is.
And maintain. It's hard to juggle friendships as an adult. Period.
Okay.
Full stop. It's not a game. Like, it's just so much juggling as an adult, and we're talking about something that matters. And I think for 99% of human beings, we care really strongly about. And it's just tough because you're juggling 7 things, right? Like, you're juggling your health.
You got the rest of life.
And you got work and a career. And you're doing all those things. And you're in this relationship. You got to flower that. Oh, put some kids in. Throw a pet in there. Well, what about maybe I got parents? You know, and it's just like, you know, if spirituality, if that's for you, you know, and it's just like, I laugh at things, and you be like, man, I got this 2B friend, I want to move up to 2A. Now I got to set a date, you know, and it's just a lot. You were talking and just dropping dimes, and I was like, woo! I see why people just be like, yeah, I just see you when I see you, boo. I see you when I see you, boo.
No, but that gets really lonely.
It does.
And it does take effort.
And then more weight's on your boo. And it's like, I just can't be the only one here for you, baby girl.
Yeah.
Baby boy.
Simple solutions. I think my friend, my bae needs some friends. Yeah. She think I'm the only one.
We've had that like twice to a certain degree in different ways.
That's really real. And it is not easy.
It's not easy.
But
that intentionality.
Yeah. I had a point. I forgot it.
Okay.
But like it is, but it can be done. And I believe that one of the most best way, like one of my newest friends, and we make jokes about being best friends now, is my coworker.
Look at this.
The last 2 coworkers I've had. Actually, the last 3.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
My last 3 coworkers have just turned into my friend because it just becomes like,
we talk
I think
about
that means
life.
a lot. We work together, we get along, we figure it out, we laugh, we enjoy each other's company.
Yeah.
And I'm still friends with them outside of the work.
That right there, though.
And like that, for me, that's a really big deal.
That's big.
Because
That
I've
transition.
had quite a few different jobs and they didn't always cross over. But the last couple ones definitely have, like interpersonal
Start with 3 new friends.
Yeah, over the last 6 years. And
when is the last time I got a friend?
You got new comedy friends all the time.
You gotta add a modifier. Then you gotta do that.
Well, I mean,
anyway,
you only hang out with them around comedy, but that's still okay.
We can keep going because I'm intrigued on the definition.
So I'm just saying. The point I'm saying is I've lived life with them and it's become easier.
Yes.
Just like some friends have developed because we work out together, or because we, you know, like. When
our
they
kids
do
have hung out a lot together,
our kids exactly.
Whatever. Yeah.
When you go the same course of life in one of those different areas that you're already investing your time in, then it gets easier. Just like we have a good new pair of couple friends.
Yeah.
And it's just easy because they are our friends as a couple. We worked with one of them.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of springs up from a natural occurring thing. So I would say start with that too when you're looking to develop new relationships or deepening relationships, is who is already in your circle where it's easy to already flow.
Yeah. That's good. I was just thinking about, you said comedy friends or you say work friends, but they dropped work. That work wasn't needed. What level does somebody become a friend? And that's a very subjective, loose term. But I think here's what for me. This is me.
I only have newly arrived there. I normally have my own.
This is my level of how I feel we are friends. If I feel like we could go on a multi-day road trip.
For comedy.
No. Why you keep putting comedy? I'm not throwing pound words on you. I'm not throwing words on me.
Multi-day road trip is a friend.
I think I have to
That's enjoy. Like your guard. That's your entry to understanding of friendship.
What? I don't understand what I'm saying. What makes somebody a friend? Is it somebody you owe money to?
Just in general.
Years. I think the element of like, I'm not going to invite everybody on a road trip. What I'm saying is, this is my litmus test. This is my
that's your question.
This is my test.
Can I go on a road trip with them? Who are the people
I could go on a multi-day road trip with? I want to hang out with them. I can trust them. We can have a good time. We probably can handle a little bit of conflict. Like these are some elements here. We might have to share a bed. These are some elements for me that I think, how would I test it? Would I make a friend? Is it just because I've known you for 8 years? No. So it's not just a time thing. I think it's a question. I mean, it's really, we have to put this, follow us on Instagram. That's going to be one of our questions we're going to throw up there. What will be the test for you? I'm saying it's a multi-day road trip. Think about that for a second. You may not have an answer on the show. But there's, and maybe you don't have a test, of course, maybe you don't. But if you play along with me here, like I think for myself,
I get what you're saying though. You're like, that hits all my categories.
Yeah. I've known comedians and people in general, church and work and other activities, I've known for a long time. But I would not use the F word. I take we see friendships, we hold them and carry them differently. But I do value the word friend. It does mean a lot to me because I do not call everybody my friend. I could probably tell you 100+ comics names. Only a few are getting labeled as a friend. That's not a knock on anybody. On old colleagues, people you work with, people in your old small group, ain't a knock. But friend has weight to me. And so I am very
I'm
aware
pretty
of
lower
that.
level. A friend is anyone I could possibly have one-on-one time with.
Just have lunch with.
Like consecutive one-on-one.
Like
encounters.
two lunches.
I mean, anything. Go
I'm
to
sure
the
they're
house.
trying to find one-on-one. Like it could be as little as a meal, or it could be in your intimate space of your home.
Yeah.
And if we could get to having 2 lunches together, then we can be friends. That's cool. That's your test. That's
yeah,
it.
like
Can we
if I intentionally want to spend one-on-one time with you, then that
That's
means
good.
that you're probably
if I intentionally want to spend one-on-one time, that's a good test. Who are the people I want to intentionally spend one-on-one time with?
And I have to
That's
say,
pretty
and I
good.
say
That's
that
pretty
real
good.
like meaningfully because I am like, hey, do you want to do this? Hey, let's go here.
Yeah.
Like there's an invitation, an
Yeah,
invite. There's a disruption to my norm to be with you. Like to me, that's a friend.
That's good. And I think in all of that, you going out, hanging out with friends. Oh, we're going to hit Jeju. We're going to get a massage. We're going to have dinner. We're going to go dancing, right? And doing whatever I do. Like, we come back full. We come back, hopefully things went well, right? More healthy, right? More joyful. And that helps our marriage. That helps our relationship. And so continue to foster these friendships over time. We're going to be married, 14 years is coming up July here.
Woo-hoo.
Like, that is a lot of time to be one person. So continue to foster, be intentional, cultivate these friendships. At the end of the day, like, it's helping us. And that is a win-win.
You on the commercial?
I do try to find a nice little bookmark. I like that. I like that.
It's a win-win. But no, it is a win. It's like when we come in from a show or a wonderful Pound event or, you hang out with your friends, you just come back with more energy. You're revived. So hanging out intentionally with friends, both collectively and independently, is going to feed right back into our marriage.
That's it. And that's what we want. We want only good things feeding into our marriage. Old stuff, any friendship that won't bring in life and joy, probably have fallen by the wayside.
And it's okay to say that.
okay.
It's all right.
It's okay.
Our daughter,
We had
Evergrace,
seasons.
she makes friends probably the easiest.
Out of our 3 kids.
She makes them the easiest and will call them a friend the quickest.
Quick.
Now, Mission makes friends pretty
well. We got some pretty
easily,
good kids.
but he don't really be like, this my
I'm a
friend.
friend.
Nah,
Yeah,
Mission's like, I got like 3 best friends.
I know people.
Everybody else is cool. He's gonna hold similar philosophies as his dad.
Yeah.
And then Liv is like, oh, I got 1 best friend.
One.
No, that's not true.
That's not. She got 3.
She has.
like-
oh no, she's a compartmentalizer.
That's true too.
So she has friends here,
Boom.
friends here,
Bang.
and they don't cross. But ever be like, oh, and then I got a new best friend. I said, girl, stop calling them your best friend. I just was like, I'm not gonna let you grow up thinking everybody.
Yeah, I got my
best.
dance best
I was
friend.
Like, and then I was like, best friend ever, best friend, and she's like, okay, my friend. I was like, okay, like. I'm glad that you want to call people your friend, and I'm glad that you feel connected to them. But I think it's important, too, for her to know, like, you like her. Like, she's a good person, and that y'all like to play together. But who do you come home and talk about? Who do you play with a lot, One day she came home from school and was, like, talking about all her friends, and I was like, is that all the girls in your class? Because that's like 5 girls. And if there is like 2 that you do not talk about, I don't know them.
It's pretty significant.
Yeah, I was like, they're not really your friend because there's at least 2 girls.
Yeah.
I know I don't hear you talk about.
Hilarious.
And then she was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And she told me they 2 names. Like, I don't really hang out with them that much.
man.
But they hang out with so-and-so. She knew who they did hang out. So she knew they weren't lonely.
Yeah.
And that was important
That's
too.
what matters.
But the same way, I think we should be mindful about how much we give and say someone is our friend, very much so to what Damon is saying. We could also, you know, do that for the safety and protection of our own children.
Yeah.
That's just because I'm a mom. I don't know how not to
throw it in
think
there.
about those child
throw it
things.
in there.
But
Mom.
yeah. And then I know we're about to wrap, but sometimes making friends is as easy as it is like a child, and we overdo it. Kids meet at the playground, and they just instant. They let the berries down.
Gone.
They just want to find someone to play with.
You here to play tag? I'll play tag. Let's play tag.
Tag, you it?
Gone.
It's that simple.
That's simple.
So don't overthink them. If you feel like you're in that stage of life right now, this season, especially out of pandemic time, where things don't look the same, try something new or tap back into something old. But whatever it is, be intentional to understand how like it's going to be beneficial for them and for you to have this connection for friendship. And if you're in a relationship, how it'll feed right back in to your relationship.
Oh, that was a bookmark. You know what I'm saying? As it came at the end, like bang, 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 flip. We know what we're doing out here.
Bang, bang, bang.
We appreciate, man. Listen, all jokes out. We hope you got a little bit of value out of this here. Friendships matter. They've been mattering for a long time. They're gonna keep mattering for a long time here. Check us out over on Instagram. That's where the conversation is going down. I want to know. We want to know what's your litmus test here for what makes a friend, right? She's hanging out one-on-one time, multiple intention.
Multiple intentional.
That's it.
One-on-one.
We road tripping out here. So we want to know from you. Sum it up, Sumners. SUM. Sum it up. Sumners over on Instagram. But as always, man, this is Damon Couture. We appreciate y'all rocking with us. Talk soon.
So I don't really love to cook as the primary cook in this family. However, what I do like is to jazz up the meals when I do cook, right? I'm looking for spices, seasonings, dry rubs, and I found a good place. It is Artisan Dry Goods made by beautiful Briny C. So a little bit of everything to spice up, jazz up your meal. It is a local store right here in Atlanta, but ready to ship out to you all over the world.
Absolutely. And they're legit. I'm going to be honest with you here. Forbes, The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and Oprah's magazine. And you know Oprah only going to promote the good stuff, all right? So check them out. Instagram, beautiful Briny C. Make your kitchen better. All right, I'm talking about real good ingredients, urban gardens, local farms, so it's good for your taste buds, good for your body. Check them out.